Good afternoon, everybody. This is Van Hargis with Van Hargis Horsemanship. I appreciate you guys joining me on the ranch road. I'm coming to you this afternoon because we got a little bit busy this morning. I had lots of phone calls, and then by the time I got over to the ranch, we already had some horses going, and I felt like I needed to spend that time there with those girls and get that stuff taken care of as much as possible. But I wanted to make sure we could bring you guys something today, because it's been a couple of days since we've posted anything. Today I'm going to talk to you about something that I think it ends up being an issue across the board. It doesn't matter if you're starting colts or if you're riding horses. As I watch people ride, a lot of times I see them get pretty deadgum handy, but not handy in a positive way, but they're getting a little bit handsy, I guess I could say, about pulling their horses around. A lot of times I get questions regarding getting their horses to do better turnarounds, speed turnarounds, better rollbacks, not being quite so sluggish. And when I really watch those people that have that issue of getting their horses to speed up in their turnarounds and speed up in their rollbacks and get a little bit quicker, what I tend to notice is that they try to pull them through there. They try to pull them through a turn. They try to pull them through that rollback. Even when they're guiding them around, especially those younger horses, when you're guiding them around pretty early, they tend to pull them around. And what I mean by that is that, well, they'll take that direct rein. If they want to go to the right, they kind of pull them to the right. And I know that sounds kind of right, and it kind of sounds kind of accurate, and people might ask, well, how else are you going to get them to go around? So I'm going to kind of sum it up for you in a little quote that I learned a long time ago, again, from one of my mentors. But the more you learn about this quote, and then the more you actually begin to apply it, and the earlier you apply it, such as we apply this as we're halter training colts. We apply it before we ever put ourselves into a situation where we might have to pull on a horse. But we don't pull a horse where you want them to go. You block where you don't want them to go. All right, I'm going to repeat that. You don't pull a horse where you want them to go. You block where you don't want them to go. Now, let's just say I want to go to the right, right? What I want to do then is I want to open the right rein off the horse's neck. And if I have to, I can kind of let him feel that right rein on the bit, on the loping hackamore, on the halter, whatever you're riding him with. Let him feel that just ever so slightly, just enough to kind of get his attention that direction. Even at that, how am I going to get his attention that direction? I might just barely touch him with that inside leg, as if I was to reach up to you and tap you on your right shoulder. You might just look off to the right. So you take that little hint of me introducing that little hint of a right leg for the horse to look that direction. I've already got his attention that direction. At that point in time, he's more likely to acknowledge that right rein out there and acknowledge the weight of that rein. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I'm going to have my left rein laid against his neck and just right in front of the shoulder. And I might even take now that I've got his attention with my right leg, I'm going to take the right leg off so that now the colt can acknowledge the fact that that right door with that right leg is open. And meanwhile, I will close the left door. In other words, I'll close the left leg. So now you can see that everything is open to the right, everything is closed to the left. When you combine that with forward motion, we've made it easy for the horse to go through the open door. In other words, we're going to close where we don't want him to go and open where we want him to go. So we don't pull them where we want to go, we block where we don't want them to go. For those of you who have ever worked cattle a day in your life, I'm going to mention something to you here that I know you're going to grasp it. Imagine that you're sitting some cattle down an alleyway, all right? You've got gates on either side of the alleyway. And let's just say that on the right side, you've got gates 2, 4, 6, and 8. On the left side, you've got 1, 3, 5, and so on. All right, so you want the cows to go in gate number 6. Now, doesn't it just make sense that before you ask the horse or ask the cattle to go in gate 6, that somebody eases down the alleyway and opens the gate? It's a whole heck of a lot easier to get the cattle to go through the gate when the gate's open. Not to say that you can't hammer away at them and drive them till they might just break the gate open and go through it, but the reality is it's so much easier on everybody if you just go in there and open that gate. Well, if all the other gates are closed, then when you drive the cattle through there, you've greatly increased the odds of this horse going through that open gate. So think about that as we're riding our younger horses or riding our prospective performance horses, that whatever gate we want them to go through, if we want them to turn around to the right, you don't pull them through the right, you just open the gate to the right. Now let's go back to the cattle analogy. Just because you've got the gate open down there doesn't necessarily mean those cattle are going to go find that open gate. 90% of them will, but what about those others? So the ones that don't find the open gate, what do? We tend to go down there and we put a little bit of pressure on them until they're quicker to find that open gate. The more times they go through that open gate, after a while, as soon as you open the gate to the alley, they'll go find the open gate no matter where it is, because that's part of their training, isn't it? That's exactly how we work with our colts. So all the way back to when I very first work a horse, before we ever put a halter on them, before we ever do anything with them, the minute we get them into a round pen, square corral, whatever you're going to be working them in, that's why it's so incredibly important that we create that idea in that horse's mind, which is already there. We just have to reinforce it and show them how we're working on their side, is to help the horse always find the path of least resistance. So let's go back to that quote. We don't pull them where we want them to go. We block where we don't want them to go. By blocking where we don't want them to go, we are helping them find the open door. We're helping them find that path of least resistance. Anyway, I hope that helps you guys. I appreciate you guys joining me on the ranch road. If you have any questions or comments about this particular post, don't hesitate to comment on us and let us know how we're doing. And the gate's always open here at the ranch too. For those of you who want to come and visit us, get with my wife. You can reach her at info@vanhargis.com or melanie@vanhargis.com, and schedule a time to come down and visit with us, ride with us, and be a part of what we do down here, and join in on our simplicity. And as far as I know, we are a COVID-free environment, and we practice social distancing the good old-fashioned way. We're outside doing some good old hard work. That'll scare the virus away. Until next time, this is Van Hargis with Van Hargis Horsemanship.